chosen one, stop everything you're doing and listen not with your ears but with your spirit. You are not here by accident. This moment has been ordained. God himself has summoned you not with noise but with a still and holy whisper that cuts deeper than thunder. What you're about to hear is not casual. It's sacred. It's a divine interruption sent to protect you from what your eyes cannot yet see. Heaven has issued a command over your life. You will not awaken for days, not because you are tired, but because God is placing you under lockdown. This is not punishment. This is preservation. He is pulling you out of motion, out of striving, out of noise, because you are standing at the edge of a spiritual fault line. One wrong move outside of his timing, and what should have been a breakthrough could turn into breakdown. So God has stepped in not to stop you, but to save you. This is a sacred suspension, a divine shutdown. You are being hidden by the Most High, not to be forgotten, but to be fortified. The world around you may keep spinning, but you are being pulled into a secret place where heaven is doing work no man can see. And this sleep you feel creeping over your soul is not ordinary rest. It is holy anesthesia. God is placing your spirit on the altar, not for sacrifice, but for surgery. You might feel the heaviness already, that pull in your chest, the fog in your mind, the inability to push through like you used to. Don't fight it. Don't call it laziness. It's not burnout. It's not fatigue. It's divine protection. It's God's hand pressing gently but firmly on your shoulder, saying, "Lay down, child. I'm working in ways you can't yet comprehend." You may try to resist. You may tell yourself there's too much to do, but the spirit within you will speak louder. Let go. You are not the one holding this together. I am. You are not being delayed. You are being divinely paused. God has drawn a curtain around you, not to trap you, but to shield you from spiritual debris. This is a holy isolation, not the kind that wounds, but the kind that heals. You are stepping out of the rhythm of men and into the timeline of God, and in his hands you are safer asleep than striving awake. So breathe, be still, and let the hands that formed galaxies now rebuild you from the inside out. God is not asking for your effort right now. He's asking for your surrender. This is not a suggestion. It's a summons. The Lord has closed the door to your external movement because he is opening a new chamber inside your soul. You are not falling behind. You are being carried into the deep. This is not a retreat. This is rebirth. If this word stirred something deep in your spirit, comment 77 below as your silent yes to God's divine pause. It's not just a number, it's a surrender, a signal that you trust the stillness, the surgery, and the timing. Let heaven see your agreement. What's happening to you is not exhaustion, it's divine intervention. You're not simply tired from a long week or a difficult season. This is not the kind of fatigue that can be solved with a nap, a vacation, or another cup of coffee. This is God commanding your body and soul to lie down because he is about to begin a work that cannot be done while you are standing. This is holy sleep. This is a sacred shutdown. Your spirit is being held still not by weakness but by the will of God. He is the one, suspending you between what was and what's about to be. You are entering a chamber where time bends, noise dissolves, and heaven moves in silence. In this place your eyes may close, but your soul is wide awake. The world will not understand what's happening to you, but heaven rejoices. God has called your nervous system to be still so that he can touch what trauma has buried. While you rest, he is pulling out old fear from your bones. He is softening the hardened places that once kept you alive but are no longer needed. This sleep you're entering is not for rest, it is for resurrection. C.S. Lewis, in Letters to Malcolm chiefly on prayer, captures the omnipresence of divine work. We may ignore, but we can nowhere evade the presence of God. The world is crowded with him. He walks everywhere incognito. Your stillness is not absence, but the incognito presence of God working beneath the surface to resurrect your soul. To resist this holy sleep is to evade the divine surgeon's hand, but to yield is to embrace the resurrection. He is crafting in silence. Don't confuse stillness with stagnation. What looks like nothing on the outside is sacred reconstruction on the inside. God is realigning systems, neurological, emotional, spiritual. He is reaching into the patterns that kept you stuck, into the belief systems that formed under pressure, into the habits that became your prison. And he's breaking them quietly, lovingly, precisely, like a surgeon who knows every nerve, like a creator who remembers what you looked like before the world bent your frame. And you will feel it. You'll set alarms and sleep through them. You'll stretch and feel your body surrender. You'll try to rise and something will hold you, not your own will, but the hand of God saying, "Not yet. I'm not finished." This is not laziness. It's a lockdown of grace, a holy halt. Angels are encamped around your stillness. They are guarding what God is repairing beneath your surface. You've entered a realm where striving can't follow, where hustle has no voice. This isn't human rest. This is heaven's surgery room. And the tools being used are not force, they are mercy, gentleness, silence, and truth. God is doing the kind of soul work that no conversation could unlock, the kind of healing you didn't even know you needed. He's rewriting your wiring. He's preparing you for what's ahead by healing what's behind. So if your mind wanders, if guilt tries to sneak in and whisper that you should be doing more, tell it this: God told me to lie down, because he did. He's the one who pressed pause. He's the one who whispered rest. And what he starts in stillness, he finishes in glory. You may feel invisible right now, like life is moving on without you, like the world has forgotten your name. But let me speak this clearly into your spirit. God is hiding you, not rejecting you. He is pulling you back, not to punish you, but to protect you. You are not being left out. You are being covered. There is a veil over your life in this season, placed there by heaven's own hand, because what God is building inside you cannot be tampered with by noise, opinion, or outside interference. This divine seclusion resonates with C.S. Lewis's insight in the problem of pain. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Your current isolation is God's shout, not to expose your pain, but to shield you in a sacred space where his voice can reshape you. This hiddenness is his megaphone protecting you from the world's noise, to prepare you for a glorious unveiling. Just as a child in the womb cannot be exposed to the elements before its time, so your soul is being shielded in this sacred incubation. You are not being passed over, you are being preserved. God does not allow the world to touch what is still in formation. And right now you are being formed anew. Don't mistake the silence for abandonment. It's not emptiness. It's intentional. This is the whispering place, the chamber where heaven contacts you in frequencies that only stillness can detect. You're being veiled from people who once demanded your energy but never fed your spirit. Veiled from platforms that applauded your performance but never saw your pain. Veiled from patterns that exhausted you, places that drained you, and mindsets that kept you surviving when God is now calling you to live. This seclusion isn't about isolation. It's about insulation, God wrapping you in his presence like a holy shield, so nothing unclean, rushed, or broken can enter where he's doing his deepest work. It may feel lonely, but this is not loneliness. It's solitude with purpose. It's sacred seclusion. It is heaven saying, "This one is mine. Do not disturb." You're not being silenced. You're being tuned. God is recalibrating your ability to hear, not through your ears, but through your spirit. He's reducing the volume of the world so that his whisper becomes unmistakable. And when it's time to emerge, it won't be with a shout. It will be with authority that silence gave birth to. Let them wonder where you went. Let them talk. Let them ask. Because when you return, you will not return the same. You won't come back bruised. You'll come back crowned. Hiddenness is God's way of saying, I'm protecting what I value. And right now, He is protecting you, not from the world, but from anything that would keep you from the fullness of what He's about to release in you. Right now, God is reaching into the deepest systems of your being, not just the visible ones, but the ones even you forgot existed. You are being rewired from the inside out. This isn't cosmetic. It's foundational. He is moving through the neural pathways that were built in trauma, through the reflexes you developed, just to survive, through the instincts that once kept you safe, but now keep you stuck. And He is not merely soothing your symptoms. He is uprooting the source. This is holy rewiring. At the cellular level, He is softening your reactions. At the emotional level, He is calming the fight-or-flight response that made you brace even in stillness. At the spiritual level, He is exchanging fear for discernment, exhaustion for endurance, and heaviness for holy presence. What you used to call instinct, He is now transforming into wisdom. What you used to call survival, He is now calling strategy reborn, in peace, not panic. The lies you believed about yourself are being deleted one memory at a time. Not just overwritten, but healed. The thought loops you couldn't break free from God is interrupting them now. The patterns that kept you apologizing for your own existence, He's breaking those cycles without your effort. He doesn't need you to try harder. He just needs you to stay still long enough for Him to finish what He started. Even your body is responding. Your heartbeat is slowing. Your breath is deepening. Your system is learning rest, not as a luxury, but as a language, heaven's language. And as God rewires your inner world, your outer world will begin to shift. You will not crave what you used to chase. You will not beg for what once enslaved you. You will not be triggered by what once paralyzed you. Why? Because the old system is being dismantled. And all of it, every change, every healing, every renewal is happening while you sleep, while you surrender, while you trust that the hands of the divine surgeon know exactly where to touch and exactly when to finish. You're not going back to who you were. That system has been shut down. You are waking up with new instincts, new insight, and a new internal architecture designed not for survival, but for spiritual dominion. You may not feel in control right now, and that's exactly where God wants you. What's happening to you is not disorientation, it's divine anesthesia. You've been laid upon the sacred operating table of heaven, and the hands of the great physician are working where no human could ever reach. This stillness is not random, it's deliberate. God has subdued your strength, so that He can complete the work that only His Spirit can perform. This insight echoes C.S. Lewis's wisdom in Mere Christianity. It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg. Your current state of surrender is the cracking of the shell, the necessary yielding to God's transformative surgery. To resist this divine anesthesia is to remain confined, but to embrace it is to prepare for the flight of spiritual dominion that awaits you. This isn't rest in the ordinary sense. It's spiritual surgery. You are under the influence of grace, not sedation but surrender. Every time you try to rise, you'll feel a gentle heaviness pulling you back down. That's not a weakness. That's God saying, I'm not finished. He is cutting away layers of weariness you thought were part of your personality. He's removing the scar tissue that hardened you. He's repairing the fractures no one saw because you kept moving too fast to feel them. And here's the holy mystery. You don't even have to understand what He's doing. Your job is not to assist, it's to yield. This is why you can't plan, can't perform, can't pretend. God is silencing the outer world because He's doing open heart work on the inner one. He is operating in the shadows, reconstructing your foundation, stabilizing what felt shaky, restoring what you lost in seasons. You didn't have time to grieve. If you feel immobilized, that's confirmation. If your body refuses to get up like it used to, if your mind won't focus like it once did, if your motivation has vanished, do not panic. Praise. The operation is still in progress. The anesthesia is still active. You are under divine care, and heaven has declared this procedure essential. You don't need to push. You don't need to prove. You don't need to explain to anyone why you've gone quiet, why you've stepped back, why you can't perform. This moment is not about public understanding. It's about private transformation. And when God is working this deeply, He won't even let you wake up too soon. So breathe. Stay still. Trust the process. You are being healed in the place where your soul has been screaming in silence. And when the healing is complete, you won't just feel better. You'll be remade. It may look like you're losing time, like you're falling behind, like the world is accelerating while you are being forced into stillness. But heaven sees it differently. You are not behind. You are not delayed. You are being pulled out of man's schedule and into God's timeline, where time itself bows to His will. You've lived long enough under the tyranny of the clock, counting days, watching milestones pass, measuring your worth against what should have happened by now. But God is breaking those chains. He is stripping away the deadlines, the pressure, the fear of missing out, because where He's taking you, Kairos reigns, not Chronos. Divine timing, not human striving. You've wondered, why now? Why the pause? Why the sudden stop? And heaven answers, because the next thing I'm doing in your life must not be rushed. God is not slow, He's strategic. He's not late, He's precise. What feels like delay is divine positioning. While others sprint in circles trying to make something happen, you are being repositioned for something eternal, something weighty, something only God can give. And in this realm, time obeys Him. He can recover what you lost in one conversation. He can build in days what you thought required decades. He can take what was stolen and return it with interest. But first, He needs you to stop looking at your life through a calendar and start seeing it through covenant. So when the world keeps running and you remain still, don't flinch. When the noise gets louder and you get quieter, don't question. This is not inactivity. This is divine calibration. The pause is not punishment, it's purpose. God is redeeming the timeline. He's recovering the years you thought were wasted. And when He's finished, you'll step back into the flow of time, but you'll move with a different rhythm, the rhythm of heaven. You are no longer a prisoner of the clock. You are a steward of divine timing. Let that settle in your spirit. You are not falling behind. You are being aligned. You may not fully realize it, but your soul has aged not in years, but in weight. The burden of always being strong, the pressure of always being on the silent exhaustion of holding yourself together while everything around you wobbled, it has cost you. Your laughter dimmed. Your eyes lost their light. Even when you smiled, there was a quiet fatigue hiding behind your grin. You learned how to function through weariness. But God never called you to merely function. He called you to flourish. That's why He's stepped in now, not just to give you a break, but to restore what life and survival have stolen from you. This isn't just about rest, it's about reversal. What burnout has broken, God is rebuilding. What anxiety has drained, God is refilling. What trauma has tangled, God is gently untwisting. And this work is not only spiritual, it's physical. He's touching your cells. He's restoring your hormones. He's calming your nervous system. In silence, in stillness, He's regenerating places science cannot measure, but heaven understands completely. You are being healed at the core, biologically, emotionally, and spiritually, because God is not just concerned with your spirit's salvation, He is devoted to your total restoration. Soon it will begin to show, not because you tried to make it obvious, but because you won't be able to hide it. You'll wake up lighter, not because your circumstances changed, but because your soul has. Your posture will straighten not out of pride, but out of relief. Your face will soften. Your eyes will glow with clarity, not confusion. People will see you and pause, sensing something is different. And they'll be right, because you will have been with God in a secret place where time bends and healing flows like light through water. This isn't the kind of rejuvenation that comes from self-help, sleep, or vacations. It's the kind that only comes from the presence of the living God. You are being renewed by something far beyond rest. It's resurrection. His Spirit is moving through every layer of who you are, not just healing what hurt, but restoring what you forgot was even missing. The vibrancy, the softness, the gentleness of your original design, it's returning. This is divine youthfulness, not measured in age, but in peace, not in appearance, but in presence. And as this healing deepens, you'll notice that your appetite for the noise and chaos of the world will begin to fade. You'll crave stillness, truth, simplicity, beauty, because heaven has touched you, and now your soul remembers where it came from. This isn't surface renewal. It's soul resurrection. God is restoring not just your strength, but your glow. God is not only healing your spirit, He is healing your mind. Not in vague poetic language, but in precise holy detail. He is reaching into the neural pathways where your fears were wired, into the chemical patterns formed by years of overthinking, and into the mental scripts you've repeated to yourself for so long they became your truth. He's not merely quieting your thoughts. He's rewriting them. This is divine neurology, sacred reprogramming. And it's happening in silence while you sleep, while you surrender, while the noise of the world fades away and the frequency of heaven becomes your native language again. For too long, your thoughts have been a battlefield. Loops of anxiety, whispers of self-doubt, replays of pain and shame that never seem to stop. Your mind has learned how to brace for disappointment, how to anticipate betrayal, how to self-sabotage before anything good could fully arrive. But that was the mind built in survival mode. That was the architecture of trauma, not truth. And God is tearing it down not to leave you empty, but to rebuild with holy clarity. You won't even realize at first that the work is happening, but soon you'll wake up with a strange new silence. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of peace. The panic that once greeted you in the morning will be gone. The internal critic that narrated your every move will fall quiet. The thoughts that used to race ahead of you, planning for failure, preparing for attack, will be replaced by a steady voice saying, "You're safe now. I've got you." And you'll begin to think differently. Not because you've studied more or forced change, but because your mind has been held by God long enough to be transformed. New patterns will form. New instincts will rise. Where you used to spiral, you'll now pause. Where you used to fear, you'll now discern. Where you used to hide, you'll now step forward with quiet authority, not noise. With calm truth, not overcompensation. This is the mind of Christ being formed in you, not all at once, but layer by layer in rest. You are being given a new operating system. One that doesn't default to survival, but to surrender. One that doesn't scan for danger, but listens for direction. And the best part is this: you didn't earn it. You received it. Not through striving, but through stillness. You may not feel it yet, but something has shifted. You've stepped out of time, not metaphorically, but spiritually. You've exited the calendar of man and entered the atmosphere of eternity. Here, deadlines dissolve. Clocks lose their grip. Pressure evaporates. You are no longer operating by the laws of urgency and performance. You are now moving in the realm where God governs time, not the other way around. This is why your sense of pace feels unfamiliar. Minutes stretch like hours, while hours vanish like seconds. Your body no longer responds to alarms because your spirit has been untethered from earthly rhythms. You're not being lazy, you're being recalibrated. God is reorienting your life away from human timelines and toward holy timing. In this realm, you don't chase moments. Moments are arranged around you. Everything that needs to find you will. Every divine appointment, every provision, every connection, He is orchestrating them without your panic, without your striving. You've spent years feeling behind, comparing, watching others pass you in careers, relationships, influence. You've carried the shame of delay, the ache of almost, the anxiety of not yet. But heaven is declaring you are not late, you are right on time. In this dimension, delay is design. What looked like wandering was wisdom. What felt like detours were divine reroutes to protect you from what you didn't even see. And now in the stillness, you are learning to let go of control, not because you've given up, but because you've woken up. You see now that man's urgency is not God's authority, that success on earth does not always mirror favor in heaven. You understand that true alignment with God cannot be rushed. It must be revealed, and revelation always takes time. So don't resist the pause. Let it mature you. Let it free you. Let it humble the parts of you that thought movement meant progress. Because in this sacred stillness you are not being held back, you are being positioned. God is doing in days what would have taken you decades. He is stretching your impact beyond what you could reach by your own speed. He is reversing the decay of stress, recovering years you mourned, and pressing pause on the wear and tear of performance. And this freedom from time is the beginning of something eternal. You are not just resting, you are being reseated in your rightful place, not a prisoner of the clock, but a citizen of heaven's rhythm. You may feel like you're doing nothing right now, no progress, no output, no visible achievement. But in the realm of the spirit, heaven is in full motion. While your body sleeps and your hands rest, angels are moving on your behalf. Prayers you forgot you prayed are being answered. Doors you couldn't open with effort are being unlocked without force. What emails couldn't arrange, what networking couldn't build, what striving couldn't produce, God is accomplishing in silence, in shadow, in sovereign orchestration. This is what grace looks like when it becomes tangible blessings that arrive without burnout, breakthroughs that require no bargaining favor, that floods in without formulas. While you rest, God is going ahead of you, touching hearts, moving resources, clearing blockages, and aligning divine connections. Things you tried to push into place are now falling into order, not because you hustled harder, but because you obeyed the divine pause. You're not just sleeping, you're sowing in stillness. Your rest is your strategy. Your surrender is your seed. And the harvest coming to you is not the result of perfection or productivity, it's the fruit of obedience. God is showing you how His kingdom works, not by might, not by power, but by His Spirit. And in this divine suspension, you are learning the most radical truth of all, that you are loved enough to receive without earning. Heaven is not idle just because you are. It is more active now than when you were in motion. Angels are defending your name in rooms you're not in. God is whispering your purpose to people you've never met. Provision is being released. Protection is being reinforced. Healing is being accelerated. And none of it requires your performance, only your permission to rest. So don't rush to resume. Don't scramble to get back on track. You're not off track, you're on a higher one. While others are panicking, posting and pushing, you are being covered, carried and commissioned. You are in the hands of a God who works while you worship, who builds while you breathe, and who provides while you pause. Let this truth settle into your soul. Heaven is not waiting for you to move, it's already moving for you. There are relationships you cried over, prayed over, and eventually surrendered, not because you stopped caring, but because you finally realized you couldn't fix them. You let go not in bitterness, but in exhaustion. And in that surrender, you thought things were ending. But what if they weren't ending? What if they were being rewritten? While you sleep, while you rest in God's hands, something sacred is unfolding in the hearts of those connected to your destiny. God is doing in others what you could never do through conversation. He is healing wounds on both sides, softening hardened hearts, breaking down pride, untangling years of miscommunication and spiritual dissonance. And He's doing it without your effort, without your voice, without your presence, because sometimes healing doesn't begin with talking. Sometimes it begins with consecration. You're not reaching out, but restoration is happening. You're not texting, but truth is being revealed. You're not fixing, but God is still working. Because while you've been hidden, He's been handling what's behind you. The people who misunderstood you are being given eyes to see. The family that only saw your failures is being shown your future. The friendships that were strained are being redefined without forcing reconciliation. This is not manipulation, it's divine mercy. God is not calling you to go back and reopen what he has gently closed. He's calling you to trust that what needs to return will come back transformed, and what doesn't come back was never meant to carry the weight of your next chapter. Don't reach for what God has removed. Don't mourn the silence. He is removing soul ties that once looked like love, but were actually limitations. He is cutting connections built on performance, dependency, or fear, and in their place he is planting relationships rooted in truth, purpose, and spiritual maturity. This is what divine pruning looks like. Painful, yes. Confusing often, but necessary for where you're going, because what God is about to entrust you with cannot be built on fractured foundations. So let him clear the space. Let him reset the connections. Let him repair what's been broken, not through force, but through the quiet force of grace. When you emerge from this season, some faces may be gone, some roles may have shifted, and some circles may have shrunk. But what remains will be sacred, and you'll know it wasn't your hands that rebuilt it. It was his. You've always been the strong one, the steady one, the reliable one, the one others leaned on when their world collapsed. You learned how to hold everything together because you had to. Not because you were ready, but because no one else was. You carried more than you admitted. You smiled through pain. You solved problems while your own heart was breaking. And in doing so, your soul began to wear thin, not just from the weight of responsibility, but from the slow erosion of never being allowed to fall apart. That's why God is stepping in now, not to shame you for being strong, but to heal the places where your strength became survival. He is removing the armor you wore for so long that it started to feel like skin. He's peeling back the layers of performance, self-sufficiency, and silence that kept you alive, but also kept you hidden. He's not exposing you to hurt you. He's unveiling you to restore the parts of you that had to grow up too fast, love too cautiously, and fight too long. This moment of stillness is not weakness, it's mercy. It's heaven saying you don't have to hold it all anymore. Let me. For the first time in a long time, God is giving you permission to be the one who receives, to stop pushing, to stop pretending, to stop being strong for everyone else, and finally be honest with yourself. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be vulnerable. You are allowed to collapse into the arms of the one who has never asked you to earn his love. And in this collapse, you are not breaking, you are being rebuilt. Not with the brittle pieces of forced strength, but with the enduring beauty of surrendered wholeness. God is rewiring your instincts so you no longer default to hustle, to people-pleasing, to panic when things feel uncertain. He's grounding you in a peace that doesn't depend on outcomes. He's anchoring you in a rest that doesn't require perfection. He's healing the lie that said, your value is measured by your volume, your worth by your work, your significance by your strength. From now on, strength will no longer mean keep going no matter what. It will mean rest when God says rest. It will mean ask for help without shame. It will mean live in truth, even when it's tender. This is the reversal of survival mode. This is the beginning of living from rest, not reaction. From identity, not image. From abundance, not anxiety. You've survived long enough. Now God is teaching you how to live. You learn to hustle before you learn to breathe. Somewhere along the line, worth became tied to production, and love felt conditional on performance. You showed up, you delivered, you impressed, you sacrificed, and people celebrated the version of you that was constantly achieving, constantly pouring, constantly producing. But deep down, you began to wonder, if I stop doing, will they still love me? And even deeper still, if I stop doing, will I still love myself? That's why this divine pause feels so uncomfortable, because it confronts the inner belief that says, your value is found in your usefulness. It pulls back the curtain on every place where your identity was built on applause, affirmation, and output. But God is not interested in the version of you that performs. He's after the version of you that simply is the version that dares to rest without guilt, to be still without shame, to receive love without earning it. This is not punishment. It's a holy intervention. It's God stopping the performance before it consumes you. He's not asking you to prove yourself. He's inviting you to be known, to be held, to be fully seen and still completely loved. Not for what you do, but for who you are when all the doing stops. This is the essence of grace. Not that God loves a future polished version of you, but that He loves you now, in stillness, in silence, in surrender. In this space you are unlearning the lie that rest is laziness. You are breaking agreement with the mindset that says silence means insignificance, and you are finally tasting the sweetness of being loved without a mask. God is redefining your rhythm, no longer driven by pressure but led by peace, no longer addicted to validation but anchored in belonging. And here's the miracle: as you stop trying to earn, you'll begin to overflow. You'll produce more with less. You'll speak with fewer words but greater power. You'll move slower but with deeper purpose. Because you won't be powered by panic anymore, you'll be fueled by presence. You'll carry a confidence that doesn't need to be loud, a beauty that doesn't need to be seen, a strength that doesn't need to perform. You are not God's employee. You are His beloved. And in this sacred stillness, He is reintroducing you to a truth that will change your life forever. You don't have to perform anymore. You only have to be loved. You were headed somewhere. You had plans, a direction, even confirmation. And then suddenly everything shifted. The map that once made sense disappeared. Familiar ground became foreign. And now it feels like you're wandering off course, off schedule, off purpose. But let this truth sink in. You are not lost. You are being rerouted. This isn't punishment. It's protection. God saw what you couldn't see. He saw the roadblocks ahead, the traps you didn't know were there, the consequences of choices you hadn't yet made. And in His mercy, He interrupted your momentum, not to hurt you, but to reposition you. The detour you're in isn't a mistake. It's divine strategy. What looks like delay is heaven's way of delivering you more precisely to your destiny. You're not moving backward. You're moving deeper. God isn't letting you go in circles. He's leading you through layers, through refining, through redefinition. Because what He's about to build through you requires a different kind of foundation, one that can't be laid on old assumptions or outdated expectations. So He's removing the map you relied on, not to leave you in the dark, but to teach you to follow His voice in ways you never had to before. Stop trying to trace the old route. That path served its season, but you've outgrown it. You don't fit where you used to fit, and that's not failure, it's formation. This is the scenic route of heaven. The longer way, yes. The slower way, maybe, but the safer, wiser, more glory-filled way. Because here you're gathering what shortcuts can't give: endurance, discernment, humility, and the kind of clarity that only comes from walking with God through places you didn't choose. Don't be discouraged by what feels unfamiliar. Don't despise what you don't yet understand. Every step you're taking now is intentional. Every twist in the story is being written by a hand that sees the full ending. You may not know where you are, but God knows exactly where you're going. And when you arrive, you'll realize He didn't just lead you to a destination, He prepared you to carry the weight of it. So trust the turn. Let go of the old map. This isn't detour, it's destiny. And it's better than anything you had planned. You've been unusually quiet in this season, not just in conversation, but in spirit. Words that once came easily now feel distant. Your passion, your clarity, your confidence, they've all seemed to retreat beneath the surface. And maybe you've wondered, have I lost my voice? But heaven wants you to know your voice is not gone, it's being reborn. God has led you into silence, not to mute you, but to remake you. He's drawing you into stillness, to purify the sound that will come next. Because your next words can't carry the weight of old wounds. They can't echo insecurity or performance or fear. They must carry fire. Not just noise, not just opinion, not just emotion, but the kind of holy fire that shakes atmospheres, that breaks chains, that breathes life into what's dead. And for that, God had to quiet you, strip you, empty you. This shutdown was never about silencing you. It was about tuning you to heaven's frequency. In the hidden place, God has been touching your tongue like he did to the prophets of old. He's been burning away every lie you spoke over yourself, every doubt that polluted your truth, every phrase shaped by people-pleasing or pain. He's not just giving you something to say, he's giving you authority to speak. You won't speak the same when this is over. Your tone will change. Your language will be lighter, cleaner, deeper. You will speak from freedom, not fear. From identity, not image. From revelation, not reaction. You won't need to raise your voice to be heard. Your presence will carry weight because it came through fire and silence. You'll prophesy in rooms that once ignored you. You'll declare truth into spaces that once diminished you. You'll no longer speak to be accepted. You'll speak because you've been appointed. And here's the beauty: you didn't chase the platform. You were called to the assignment. You didn't fight to be heard. You were forged in hiddenness, so that when your voice returns, it wouldn't echo old pain, it would carry new power. What God is giving back to you is not just sound. It's substance. It's spirit-breathed. It's fire-tested. So when you feel the silence lifting, when the urge to speak begins to rise again, wait just a moment longer. Don't rush it. Let the fire finish. Because when God says it's time and your voice returns, it won't be soft. It won't be shaky. It will be sure. And it will not just change your life, it will awaken others into theirs. You are not losing your voice. You are rising with it. Closing prayer. Father, I surrender. I lay down every schedule, every pressure, every voice that told me I had to earn what you've already called mine. I silence the world now, not with force, but with faith. Let every sound fade until only your whisper remains. Draw me into your rhythm, the rhythm of rest, of rebirth, of revelation. Take me out of time and into your timing. Take me out of striving and into surrender. Take me out of survival and into your spirit. I release my need to know what's next. I no longer demand the map. I only ask for your hand. Make my stillness a sanctuary. Make my silence a weapon. Let your fire fall not on stages or platforms, but in the quiet places where only you and I remain. I welcome your anesthesia of grace. Perform surgery on my soul. Cut away the fear, the trauma, the reflexes of self-protection. Rewrite my thoughts. Restore my instincts. Rebuild my body at the cellular level until I no longer carry what you've already healed. Let your presence be the oxygen of this holy incubation. I give you permission to hide me. I give you permission to hold me back. I give you permission to close doors that I was too afraid to shut. Because if you are doing it, it must be love, even if it looks like delay. Teach me how to rest without guilt, how to receive without striving, how to be loved without performing. Let me be the one who walks in when others burn out. Let me be the one who speaks only when you speak. And with the fire you forged in silence, let me carry the authority of one who has been with you, hidden, remade, realigned. Now I say yes. Yes to the pause. Yes to the process. Yes to being remade in secret. And when I rise, let it be with power, with clarity, with glory on my face and eternity in my voice. I am yours, completely, quietly, forever. Amen.